It is pointless to resist.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Starlight Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digested Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 261, being recorded on May 29th, 2024. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo here.
What's up, nerds?
We got Grand Admiral Franz.
Hello.
And we've got Ernie the Fallen Fett joining us shortly as he wraps up his show.
His
and
500 subscriber celebration.
You know, that's why he told me that's why he bleeds into our show, because celebrating 500 is, you know, it's a good achievement.
It's a big deal.
So
it's a huge deal.
And those of you who have been wondering where Joey has been, you know, he's not going to be joining us until probably at the end of this year because things got mixed up. So I know Joey listens and he's probably going to be in the chat. So everybody just wave to Joey and drive home safe. So before we get into all the good stuff that we have today going on, I'm going to kick it over to Scott to shout out our Shadow Council and everybody who is anticipating this talk being digested in the pit. So Scott, take it away.
You got it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Starlight Digest, brought to you by, I don't know, all of these fine folks right here in the Shadow Council. I was going to say Tashi Station Emporium. A little too early for that. I can? All right. By Tashi Station Emporium and the Shadow Council. That is AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian C., Cliff, Commander Cook, Crystal E., Dennis McGrath, Don the Dead Dorn, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Luke, aka Lob Collectibles, Mervine Bolanos, Matt Logic, Nicholas Schaefer, Papa Schmitty, Ryan, and the Star Joe's podcast. So if you are interested in joining the Shadow Council, just scan that QR code right there. Donate a couple of bucks. We really appreciate it. It goes right back into the production of the show. And if you feel so inclined, send us a super chat. We always appreciate that. And without further ado, let's talk and shout out to Mando Mike, who is being digested. He's kind of gamey though, so the Sarlacc is kind of having a little hard time there with Mando Mike. Yeah.
Not sure how to take Mando Mike.
Yeah,
no, nobody is. Yeah,
he's some hot sauce.
We also have Rhino Hobbies in there.
What's up?
What's up, Rhino? We've got Gavin Connor.
Gavin.
And I'm going to be joining Gavin pretty soon on his podcast to talk about some Cure stuff. So tune in, guys. Yes.
Sorry, Gavin.
Yeah. Sorry.
We love you, Gavin. Sorry, we're sending Scott over there. No, that's cool, man. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And then everybody who's just chilling in there, get your comments in there and questions, because we're going to start theory crafting the last week of the Acolyte that we have, before it launches. So next week we have 7 days away. We have a 2-episode premiere of the Acolyte, and all the guessing, all the waiting, everything. It's all over from there. And now is our time to kind of take a step back.
We'll have 2 months of bitching and complaining every week.
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
So, but this is the fun time. This is the calm before the storm, right? This is the time where we actually could take in what we've seen as far as like the TV spots and the movie trailers, and not going on any kind of interviews and stuff like that. We don't want any kind of heavy spoilers, but this is our time to kind of regroup before the big show. Julianne Fernie, we haven't seen you in a long time. So welcome back. I hope everything's cool with you. Janabi, well, Obi-Wan Kenobi will always be the best Jedi, and good evening. I will let you have that. You are not wrong. Thank you so much for that super chat. It's always welcome. And it's good to see you in chat. It's good to see that name in there. Yes. All right. So I promise after that Acolyte, I will watch Kenobi again, because he is the best Jedi. Chris,
stop. It's too early.
She gave a super chat. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's Ahsoka still.
It's Ahsoka still. But
it was Obi-Wan until Ahsoka became it.
Yeah, there you go. That's fair enough.
That's where I was. Anyway.
So
Yoda was number 3 until about the last 3 weeks.
Sorry,
we'll get there.
Sorry. Yeah. Wow, Chris already hit me with the Yoda talk already.
Later, we'll save it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the Acolyte has been premiered here in the States and the UK, and right, it's people have gone to see it. They did red carpet. And what I've been seeing, and guys, I don't know what you guys been seeing across the internet, but it's been like overwhelmingly positive. Like overwhelmingly, a lot of people. And again, these are a lot of some are the show creators. Some are talking their own IP up or all product up, but a lot of are like journalists, YouTubers, different kind of categories where people work, and it's been like the first 2 episodes have been like blowing them away. Which, I mean, I get goosebumps hearing that, because I always want Star Wars to win. I always want this to be a thing. But how does that make you guys feel? Do you think it's like, because we kind of heard this a lot before, but then also we've heard, have we ever heard like something negative out of the bat from these kind of red carpets? Really? No, right?
No.
Yeah. So I don't know how to,
we know a lot of the people, or at least follow each other or see each other, and these are the very, very positive people.
Yeah.
Very positive. They loved Ahsoka. They loved Kenobi. They loved Bad Batch. They loved everything about them all. Right?
Yeah.
They have resistance shirts.
Resistance shirts.
I do. Do I want it to be true? Hell yeah, I do. I really want this to be great. I think it has a chance to be really dark, really cool. Give us a little bit of effect into the future. From what I hear, it can touch each era a little bit, like give you something from each one. to look at. So I mean, I'm excited for it. So I want it to be good. You know, do I trust the
100%.
reviews right now? Not those folks. No.
Right.
Yeah, it's with me, with like all of them, I go in hoping for the best and keeping my expectations low, right? Where they're already doing a great service by getting away from the original trilogy and the prequel era and the sequel era, right? They're going away from that. It's our first venture outside of that timeline. And for me, that's if it weren't for a few characters that exist in this timeline, like Yoda and Opa Rancis and maybe Plo Koon, maybe
Definitely
not Plo Koon.
Yeah, Plo Koon.
If it weren't for those three, I'd say it's a clean slate, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're going
it's
into
safer, right?
Right, but there's
In a
still that
sense.
baggage of having some characters that exist.
Yeah, because
So-
now we're looking at plot. We're looking at canon versus characters at this time, right? I mean,
Right.
we're at this moment where Acolyte kind of makes us nervous because there is a set canon that has to be preserved. It has to be preserved, and again, I don't think a company. I could be wrong, and I know there's people playing like, have you been watching? But I don't think this Lucasfilm team, Dave Filoni behind it. I know this was set before Dave Filoni got promoted and all that stuff, but he still has the hammer of or that seal of approval kind of stuff moving forward. I don't see them breaking canon. And I know Chris will bring up some things later on certain characters that could 100% break canon. I trust that they won't.
Wouldn't
I
break
trust that
canon.
they have that as their whiteboard. The number one thing on that whiteboard is do not break canon. And what do we mean by that? And the whole thing is this Sith, if it's Sith and the Jedi Council knowing about it and the events of the prequels. That's what I mean by breaking canon. That's where it has to be preserved. The Sith coming back as how they did in the prequels has to be preserved. It can't be they're back and they've been back for 100 years.
We're gonna get started this real fast, dude.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead, Scott, sorry.
They have to
we
preserve it.
just had our 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace, where they brought up the line, right? It was
always
right there. The Sith have been extinct for millennia, right? That we just had the 25th anniversary of that line. Don't mess it up, right?
But who said it? Coyote Mundi. He wasn't around. Plo Koon, Rancisses, Yoda, Yaddle. They're probably going to be around at this point, right? That's that they're going to know. They're going to have this little side deal, the Illuminati of the Jedi, right? On the Council of the Council. These folks know, and they will keep it secret to their graves.
That's interesting. That's
I
interesting.
didn't want to go there this early.
No,
but
no.
That's going to get there.
I have arguments to this, though. I do have some arguments to this.
Yeah,
I do too.
But the Plo Koon thing. I mean, even that. Let's just hit that. We saw that picture of a Keldor Jedi, right?
Yeah,
they're not gonna have another one.
Yeah,
looks just like him, right? That's ridiculous. That's playing with us. They've already had IG-11 and fucking the Mandalorian looking like Boba Fett and IG-88.
Right.
You can't come in here and have just another. Change a little bit about him and change the character.
I agree.
Looks like Plo Koon. It's
because they're not like Twi'leks and Rodians, right? Where they're just everywhere, and you can have 1,000 of them, and there could be more Twi'lek Jedis. But there are some specific alien races or characters in Star Wars that really pinpoints an era and it pinpoints a time. So if we see Plo Koon's race in it, we automatically that's Plo Koon. Because if you start multiplying them, it takes that away from Plo Koon. Just like for perfect example is George Lucas's use of Ewoks versus Wookiees in Return of the Jedi. He wanted Chewbacca to be a standout character and didn't want a planet of them to water down Chewbacca.
I thought that was because they were cheaper to get little people.
No, his thing was, and according to him, in his book, he said that if I had a planet, because he initially was going to go to Kashyyyk, but that would have taken away from Chewbacca as a centered character, a Fab Five, right? So you have a planet of him, and he waters him down a little bit. Now having him by himself the whole time, isolated, he means so much more. That's a character that you look at. So I'm just using that kind of analogy on Plo Koon, which he doesn't get a lot of screen time, but he is popular in the Ahsoka realm. So there is a sense of preservation there, which I agree. Like, if you're going to have that race in there and call it somebody else, you have to be really different. I mean, you have
it's his
really
brother
have to,
Slow Koon.
Slow.
That's it. It's his brother Slow Coon. It's all good.
So we'll just put that out there again. This is all, kind of observations, but Fig Fury, Evening Jets, thank you for coming in.
Actually, this is a good time. Do we do the timeline yet? Look at Mando Mike's question here. Where's this going to be? Before the High Republic or
here we go.
After? Why don't we just check that right quick?
Yeah, let's go ahead and see where the Acolyte falls on the overall timeline. So
here we go.
Go for it.
And it lands right here. 100
Mando,
years before the Battle of Yavin.
So Battle of Yavin is our year zero, and so we're going 100 years before that. So this is going to be before the prequels, and that mindset. So all the High Republic stuff that we've gotten out of the novels and the comics and the lore, this is going to be the culmination of it, or the I don't know if it said that you don't really need to have read all the High Republic stuff.
Was this 100 years before Battle of Yavin or 100 years before Phantom Menace?
Oh, 100 years before Phantom Menace. I've got to fix that.
Yes. Yeah, so it's 130.
130, roughly. Yeah.
130, Mando.
So, yeah, but it is considered the end. This is the final act of the High Republic. This is the end of the High Republic.
Right. Right.
So however many seasons they do.
Right. Right. Because supposedly it's already been greenlit for season 2.
They're talking about it already. Yeah.
Yeah.
So real fast, Fig Fury's saying, I'm going to go in the Acolyte with the thought of it probably will be not good. But then if it is, it will be a welcome surprise. Yeah. I mean, that's the safest way to do it, right? Go in there and, but that's hard to do that too, because it's like, dazzle me. You know what I mean? Like,
because when you start talking about the things they're going to talk about, you think of all the cool shit that could happen. Right. And we do it to ourselves. We do it every time.
Of course we do.
And it sit there. It's kind of like building Luke's character up to the point where when he does something different in Last Jedi, it throws everybody off. We do that to ourselves through the EU and everything else. Right? Or Yoda.
I'm going to do it tonight.
You watch. You have Yoda on this pedestal, right? And there's no reason.
Different reasons, though.
The same thing. We do it in our own heads.
Listen, man. Listen, dude. Listen.
You son of a.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
The parents are about to start fighting. So.
Yeah. Well, man, that's your opinion. But there's a reason why we have Yoda. I have Yoda. We all should have Yoda on a pedestal. There's a great reason for it. And I know where you're coming from on that aspect of, so to bring people up to speed, if you haven't really know, Chris is saying that Yoda knew this whole time and he's sweeping the Sith return under the rug, making the events of the prequels kind of happen under Yoda's watch, and he did nothing about it. Okay.
This is all going to sneak away. They're going to forget about it. This was a one-off. They're going to hide it. So you're saying gets said, when they say they've been extinct for millennia, Coyote Monday is going to have nothing to do with this. Nah. When he says that and looks around, nobody backs it up.
No, but right? what was the dialogue right after? I mean, again, it can go both ways here, because Yoda says the dark side is clouded, right? It's hard to see. It's hard, he
knows it's around. He hit it.
That's what
he sees it coming back. He sees it coming back from 70 or 100 years ago. He's like, oh no, not again. He's freaking out right now. He's like, here we go. And this is the reason he started the whole no attachments. Whatever happens to the Acolyte, he is going to, him and Plo Koon and Rancisis and Yaddle and whoever else and Vanestra Rowe, they're all going to decide, you know what? Attachments is the root of all of our problem. We need to stop this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Boom. And then Yoda sweeps it under the rug. They keep it till Order 66. And then Yoda's so ashamed after losing yet another loss against Palpatine and not being able to stop it again, right? That he goes off and runs away for a couple of years, doesn't want to train the chosen one's son that comes in to save the day.
Right. Well, that's
and then
what I'm
dies.
saying. You have the original trilogy did something. Well, again, I blame. I'm putting the blame on the maker himself by putting Yoda in the prequels as the leader, as this right there. I always thought, and I told you this before, is that Yoda should have always been this mysterious Jedi master on Dagobah, never a warrior, or you know what I mean, always there, just the guy who the sage that lives on that planet. I always thought that. So when the prequels did throw him in the mix of that, I was like, that's horrible. Not horrible,
it's too much Yoda.
it goes like this. Then you could start talking you could start making those connections of like, well, this, like I said, Yoda running away. I to exile. I go, what are you talking about exile? Like, this is last ditch. Go after him again. Regroup and go after him again. Don't just give up. But
there are tons of Jedi out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, Yoda.
But I mean, in a way, everything did work out at the end.
Oh yeah, worked out great. Great. Alderaan was.
Cooking. But that's collateral damage.
Yeah, collateral damage. Kind of
billions of worlds.
I mean,
we lost one world out of billions.
Man,
I agree with Fig Fury here. I don't think.
No, he won't.
Will not be an acolyte. He's busy somewhere else, just like he's been in the entirety of the High Republic, right? The High Republic novels, for the first set, he was off doing stuff with other people in comics. I still don't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't show up until the second and third act of the whole High Republic thing. So, but yeah, I do not think he will be there.
So you think they're going to repeat that? I mean, like, just keep Yoda out of all these stories when Yoda's Yoda?
He's like the overpowered. He's like the overpowered character in it, right? I mean, if you want to throw somebody at, I think so. I mean, if you, at the 800 something, he's flipping around like a jackass fighting Count Dooku. I mean, 100 years before that, he's gonna be pretty spry for
green guy.
Green guy. There you go.
But even
I don't think he'll be there personally.
No. I don't think so either. And let me ask you this, Chris. Then, okay. So,
I'm sorry. I removed myself from the conversation.
No, because this kind of goes into this thing. Let me ask both of you this then. Remove the Sith from the Acolyte. Are you still have that problem with the Council and that whole thing? Like, if this isn't a Sith problem, we're assuming it is because red lightsaber and just whatever.
No. I don't think it's Sith really. I think we've been using that.
Okay, because I always felt like the Jedi Council. This is the time of peace and the height of the Jedi, right? This is the time where they just put out fires across the galaxy. The Guardians of Peace and Justice. They have really no involvement in the Galactic Senate at this point. They're not warriors, but they're like peacekeepers. They can't stop dark side users. No matter if the Sith are extinct for a millennia, they cannot go out there and squash every dark side user there is because the Force is. I mean, so there's planets that people are developing these powers and they're discovering these things. They don't put a label on it calling Sith and Jedi. I think the term Sith is what the Council is more afraid of than dark side.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because Sith means something completely like I said, if
that's your mortal enemy. That's your sworn. You're going to go to war when there's a Sith. When there's a dark side, they're just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and if they know the hierarchy involved, master, and it's been 1,000 years about the rule of two, but every apprentice beats the master, becomes just as stronger, and it keeps going. So if you can have one Sith at that time, it's like, oh crap, how did we miss this? And that's where I feel the prequels is like, we missed this. We completely missed this. They were looking for a Sith master, and they did not know that he was the chancellor.
He was in the room with them.
Yeah, he was in the room with it because dark side clouds everything. I mean, that's the whole thing. You got to believe that, though. You can't just throw that out.
I do, but I mean, that's part of the failure, right? I mean, if you're the greatest,
it is part of the failure,
and you're supposed to be able to dabble in the dark side yourself, buddy. Right? They've said that several times, and you can't pinpoint that there's something wrong with dude.
I don't know because
I kind of don't trust the chancellor.
It was like political.
He's got Sith relics in his office you walk through all day.
You're not wrong.
Look, man, get George Lucas on the phone because that's a him question, right? So it's like
that's what I'm just saying. You're the pedestal. It gets a little shorter for this little guy.
I don't put it all on his shoulders. I really don't. I mean, I don't
think it's all. I think he's just part of the issue that sweeps it under, and he's going to have to take over and do all this. It might be him being the hero to save it and then sweep it under.
Right.
But the thing is going to be the point when we get to Phantom Menace is the link between the two will be there was a huge jack up in Acolyte. They have to cover it up. Nobody else is going to know about it, and they have to change the rules a little bit. And we're going to get a little more stringent. And probably now we're going to be the peacekeepers and work with the government. Because in the Acolyte, right? I mean, and not the Acolyte, in the High Republic, Scott, they're not with the Republic.
No. They're
right?
a separate
Wait.
entity that just
By
works
the third act, are they?
They are guardians of peace and justice,
But they're not like
in the High
by,
Republic.
by the Phantom
They're not
Menace.
soldiers. By the Phantom Menace, they're the same. It's not until Attack of the Clones where they become militarized, where they are actually militarized. But remember, I mean, the Chancellor sent Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan out there to the.
But they don't work for in High Republic. I don't take it that way. I think they're friends with them, but they don't like the Chancellor's not going to send them somewhere.
They work side by side, but they're separate entities. Yeah,
right. The Chancellor sent 2 Jedi as a favor. It wasn't like the Jedi were working for the Council at the government at the time. They just sent the 2 Jedi out there because he figured that they were the best chance of peace. That's why Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were sent out there. They weren't officially, I mean, they're not controlled by the Republic until Attack of the Clones.
Oh.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I did. That's how I saw it. All right. Maybe I'm wrong, but it wasn't until they became generals of the Grand Army of the Republic that they were militarized and officially taking orders from the Republic.
Well, and look what Palpatine said. It's treason, and when they come and try to take, and that was his whole thing. The Jedi aren't supposed to be telling me removing me as power because they want power, and that's what he told everybody. Their greed, they came in, try to just look at me, I'm scarred because they wanted the ultimate power and stuff.
I'm scarred.
Yeah, and there was also Mace Windu. They brought Dooku's name up too, as far as like, do you think Dooku is working with the, or something like that with the Sith, whatever? And Mace Windu is the one who squashed that, saying like, no, he's a former Jedi. He can never.
It's not in his. No, it's not in his character.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he was a Sith. They never mentioned that. They said an assassin.
So
out to kill Padme.
Let me get this straight then. All right. So the conspiracy is, or Chris's conspiracy is, there's a group of council members, Jedi council members, who, like I said, thwarted the Acolyte of this whole thing when it comes to deal, and they did not. They kind of swept it, and they business as usual, but they know. So
they might not be involved in the whole story. You're going to see Plo Koon. You might get but by the end, when you get them together at some point, it'll be that you're going to realize that who's having to hide this.
So that's why all the looks, like they gave each other the looks and stuff like that.
It changes. It'll change the Phantom Menace enough to where you go, oh shit, look at that. Kind of like when you watch Rogue One and you watch A New Hope right after. And you're like, oh, that's a little different. Or if you read what's the book before Rogue One?
Catalyst.
That changes Rogue One like crazy. Same kind of thing. This all of a sudden you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh, that's pretty. Or like Mandalorian's doing for the sequels a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Right here, Fig Fury comes up with this, and we discussed this last week too. I believe he calls him Slipknot Ren. Is the first Knight of Ren to be connected to the sequels. He says he hopes not, but I actually kind of think that's a cool idea because it gives you a dark side acolyte to go against that could wipe out a bunch of people, go around murdering, the Jedi without breaking that canon, right? Because it still keeps Yoda's legacy safe, right? It keeps Yoda, Yaddle, Plo Koon, all of them. Well,
it keeps the return of them kind of like, wait a second. Sith can't be returned. We fought them thousands of years ago, and that's why I was saying there's this meeting room where we all get together and we kind of brainstorm. It's like, and we're like, cool, be careful. It's like, be careful because there's a major thing in there. Now, Chris did a workaround. I will concede to that. You actually gave me a workaround. If it is Sith, if the Acolyte is all about the Sith, and they either, I don't know, destroy them or they get away or whatever it is. And if the Jedi Council has that does mean that, again, the flawed portions of it, but then that immediate pendulum correction that Yoda and everybody else does could be thing where it's like, look, all right, we effed up. So this is how we fix it. And then let's move forward in 100 more years.
Yeah, your generation.
Oh, this guy's he just infiltrated us. Like, what did we I want to see, because here's the thing, like when we get into the Galactic Empire and all those things, the Jedi lost control, and that's the story we love. And this is why I always kind of like, well, yeah, that's not going to be perfect this whole time. Maybe for 1,000 years it was perfect, and then it just fell apart. And is Yoda to blame? And that's where I was like, damn, because you know what, you guys make a good point. where, yeah, it could be because he's the guy who everybody answers to, but also that's what pisses me off even more, seeing like they should have left him on Dagobah.
That's part of the problem is the captain goes down
saved.
with the ship, right?
Yeah.
The employees it's not the employees' fault, it's the boss's fault.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think 100 years before, 800
and you made a
life, he's
point
got to
that
be really high.
You made a
He's
point
gotta
that
be on the
pissed me
council.
off because that pissed me off because it was so true. Is that you go in Yoda's role in the sequels, laughing about, yeah, I failed, I goofed up.
Yeah, dude. I mean, to
Real
end up
page
there,
turners.
There's your pedestal right there.
Yeah. Well, this is what I don't like those.
I know, but I wasn't even going to bring that up in here, right? But I mean, the rest of it too. When you really just look at what we got, you got an old man in a swamp that lifted an X-wing and couldn't keep the kid around, and he trained him for 23 minutes, right? Then next time you see him,
next time you see him,
he's dead. And when you did see him the first time, he didn't even want to train him, and we didn't know anything. Nobody knew anything about the sister. Nobody did. So we can retcon it all we want through a certain point of view. And
right.
But at that moment,
not even George Lucas knew.
Not even George Lucas knew. But this guy didn't. He's been hiding for 30 years or 19 years and didn't want to come out.
Yeah. See, that's why. Quite honestly, like we said, you take that the perfect 3 films in all of cinema is this original trilogy because what it did, and like you just said there, he didn't want to train it, but it was like there was so much there.
And if it was just left there, I'd be okay because I could talk around it.
I'm telling you, but
once you see him lose to Sidious and then completely just jump in a car and leave,
it shocked me when I saw it. Like Revenge of the Sith. Like, wait a minute, that's how he got to dig. That's really like he just gave up, and like it shocked me because again, it rewrote Star Wars for us. Like, it rewrote characters.
A lot of things in the prequels rewrote stuff.
100%, dude.
Which is why I still to this day have a hard time coming to grips with some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I accept it. I know it exists. It's some of it's cool, but some of it just I'm like,
what I like? Scott. I like Anakin and Obi-Wan. And that brother versus brother, and I like Anakin's fall to the dark. That's where I look at, that background galactic politics on it shifted into the Galactic Empire. And so even like the sequels, cool. I actually do like, I don't like all of Luke's arc, but I do kind of like his role in it and Rey and Kylo in that conflict. I don't like the political atmosphere on the sequels. I think that was a wasted thing, but that role thing, and I just felt like they just needed to lean more into his why Luke ran away.
You know what? That's because they all do, dude. And that was actually the point there. Because it's okay for Yoda to do it, and you have him on a really high pedestal, right? Or everybody does. Luke did it, and everybody's mad that Luke was running away. Luke wouldn't run away.
Obi-Wan did.
Yoda did.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? And then people got mad about Kenobi by him being mad 9 years into it. Well, what the hell would you be, right? I mean, that's exactly how he should have been. I don't know, but I like all these arcs. I like all these ruined characters that have to come back. I like that.
It's Star Wars, right? Like
let's not forget they're all running away.
Yeah, well, it's that point. It's like, well, why go into a blaze of glory and it helps no one, right? So live to fight another day.
But when you figure out you've got 30 other Force users the Jedi out there, you're like, oh, I probably should have put together.
Yeah, it's getting a little muddied out there, right? It's getting a little hey, a little crowded out here.
A little bit.
Me being the lone Jedi is getting a little crowded out here in the space. So.
Right. Yoda can sense these guys. He sensed Ezra on Lothal. He never met Ezra, but he knew he was there.
Yeah.
What the hell was that, right? I mean, so aren't you just searching out?
The Force.
Ahsoka.
I feel like we need a crash course in how the Force works because
we're still learning.
If Yoda can feel Ezra on Lothal from Dagobah, why is it that why does a blood test need to be done in order to check people for the Force?
That's fair.
Darth Vader knows that the Force is strong with this one, right? And knows that Luke is up. Well, not Luke, but whoever the X-Wing pilot is, he knows the Force is strong with him. He can sense it.
Yeah.
Right. There's aspects of this, but whenever they go and test Omega, it's stand on a rock. It's not even Qui-Gon's do the blood test that apparently can be run through the Naboo starship, right?
Right.
There's a lot of really confusing things as far as the Force goes, right? Yeah, I feel we need a good crash course from the master himself or his apprentice, either George or Dave. Tell us how the Force works.
Yeah.
there's some confusion.
I'll put in a call.
There's some confusion, but it
Appreciate
also makes some great story arcs, the character, because then it could be manipulated into factions that we don't even know about, dark side users, light side, even different light side users.
That's what we're about to get.
Oh
yeah,
right?
I think
we're gonna get these other
the witches.
we just got the light witches in the last one, the light sisters or whatever it was, and then now you're gonna get these new sisters. That's another cool
I kind of like
and
that. So it's
I do too, man.
the force is it's hard. It's like easy to recognize, difficult to master. It's just
Rhino Hobby. Just look at Sabine, right? I mean, Sabine struggled, even though she didn't look like she had force powers. Kanan tells her everybody has the force. It's just your ability, your connection with the midichlorians, and if you can tap into it, right? Yeah. And even through Ahsoka, she struggled all the way through it until finally, in her desperate need, she was able to get that lightsaber, right? Now the force push right after that, I'm like, wow, we just went from barely being able to pull to being able to
it's just explained Rey.
All she had to do was heal somebody real fast and we'd have been all right.
Right?
And mind read and all other stuff.
Anyway, Rhino Hobby's here. I thought the Sith and the Jedi were like religions like Catholicism and Christians who believe in the Force but don't belong to either one of those spiritual groups. That kind of
They have creeds. They're different creeds. So Sith use the Force,
power and anger. And
they're about power, just absolute themselves, and they think inward. Jedi use their Force as guardians of peace and justice. They're the ones who felt the need to create the Jedi code and call themselves Jedi to be like, we're here for others. I'm not going to save myself. I'll save you before I do. And
they're the peace and the love, and
Sith is about self-preservation, and so it's more religions, creeds, stuff. And
and we also had in Rogue One, we had the what was Chirrut and Baze? What was the not
Guardians of the Wills?
Guardians of the Wills, right? Another aspect of it where they believe in it, but they can't tap into it. That was more of a
Maz
religion.
Kanata. Maz is the same thing.
Maz
she
Kanata,
can sense it, but she can't use it.
But to this point, it was that whole, I guess it's that conversation back where we were just having about Yoda tapping into the dark side, or somebody like Obi-Wan in episode 1. You can see him kind of tapping into the dark side before he fights Maul, right? Like you can see him like angry.
Like
that's kind of, there's two
anger,
sides.
right.
More, I suppose it's more you tapping into your anger, which changes the way you're using the Force. And it's the same Force, right? I guess that's the question right there. I guess as far as the Catholicism and the Christianity. Right, you're using the same Force, hence the same God, but you're completely using different parts of yourself. I don't know how to explain that shit. That's weird.
No, it's because if
Yoda's meditating in the dark side, you have to think about it like, oh, is there what do we call it? Oh my God, the world between worlds, but it's all red.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah.
Like there's the dark side on that side.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny how the dark side clouds everything, but they can sense like Yoda sensed Order 66. He sensed Anakin killing the Tusken Raiders, but he also heard Qui-Gon in that mix too. Mm-hmm. Qui-Gon wasn't in the dark. It was just echo. I figured that whole thing was echoes of the Force. What the world between worlds is this echoes and these pivotal moments in the time and space where you can sense that. Now, dark side, I think, might be a little different. Like I said, you can never meditate in the dark side. You're always pulling from it because it's all about emotions, right? Dark side is all about using your raw emotions to strike somebody in anger. Like Obi-Wan had two choices right there: to kill Darth Maul or to apprehend him. And he chose, before he was about to get killed himself, he chose just to cut him in half. Like he went that route. But he came back from it. Anakin killing Dooku the way he did, he chose right then and there out of cold blood. And never recovered from that. It always bothered him, right? So,
but that's the thing with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's was a self-preservation. It was strike or get struck down, right?
Yeah.
His was acting in the heat of the moment, right there. Anakin's was that was
an unarmed man at that point,
cold-blooded. Yeah, literally an unarmed man.
Ernie, the fallen pet.
My email was down for 40 minutes.
Really?
I'm so sorry.
What did you say on your show that you got the government mad at you?
I just got to work. Yeah, there was strange crap happening at the end. There was. Absolutely.
Well, welcome, man. And also, I do want to check in with the chat, too. Also, while we got Ernie in here, we got Matt Logic 44 checking in. We've got Obi-Wan Chingones. We have John.
Thank you.
John John
Yeah.
Fettman coming in late. Jake Gooding.
What's
It
up,
reminds me of
Jake?
that movie, the Hot to Trot. Don. What's a horse with one? Never mind. It's something it's in my own head. Anyway,
Only you know that reference, man. Only you.
come on.
Yeah,
man.
I
wasn't
couldn't
anywhere
even
near
save
it.
you on that one, Moocher.
Yeah,
I was like, which one's
Bobcat
Hot to Trot?
Goldthwait, Hot to Trot, when John Candy plays the voice of the horse.
No.
Oh my
This is
goodness.
when
John
this
Candy
is when you
played a
need Joey.
horse? Yeah,
Right.
you're right.
Yeah,
Joey
Don the
was
horse.
good
Yeah,
point.
the horse named Don. Yeah. Anywho,
Again, I gotta get with Joey because I forget that show again that I talked about that looked like, remember me?
Oh, yeah.
He had some bullshit name. Well, there's no way that's it. And I pulled it up and I'm like, oh shit, that's it. That's incredible. He's
funny.
a wealth of ridiculous knowledge.
well,
Very true.
Ernie, to bring you up to speed real fast, man, we're talking. Of course, this is the calm before the storm and the Acolyte, and we're trying to break down, kind of like the Acolyte and where it's going to take us and how it's going to affect the timeline before we see everything. This is us just kind of like throwing it out there. And we've come to a couple conclusions. Like if Acolyte goes full Sith, and this is a Sith problem, and this is a Sith thing, like these are, these guys have come back, and it's known that they've come back. Chris is saying like this is we're all saying it's a problem because of the events that happen in the prequels. About the, hey, how can they come back without us knowing all this stuff? So is there a conspiracy amongst the Jedi Council to sweep the events of the Acolyte under the rug and then change the rules, which is a possibility? Or
we did have in our heads, it could just be this set of Jedi out on their own and never come in contact with the Council or anybody who survives. We did talk about that, but now with the picture of Plo Koon, that takes that away. There is an existing member of the Council with them during this time. So
right, because there was a shot of a Plo Koon in the background, and we're like, and Chris is saying that can't just be another alien race.
It's not going to be another
Keldar.
from Keldor. It's not going to be another one.
It has
Plo
to be.
Koon is very specific.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just talking about that. I've been radio silent on all of this stuff because I want to be surprised and tuned into it because there's been a lot lately for it. I don't think they're pushing too hard. A lot of people are excited and everything, but the behind the scenes, the new trailer, this cut, this and that.
That cut right there with the Plo Koon, and then an interview I saw today, which I won't say it on here. I didn't tell the guys either. Is I saw an interview that confirmed one of my theories from the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, oh shit! And I'm all, that can't happen. I'm all, you can't just blurt shit like that out.
Oh yeah.
So I took the stance, one, because I've been so busy, but it's helped. But two is because then this one's going to be so different. I would rather go into it just eyes shut,
100%, dude. Yeah,
and see what's going to happen and be like, oh,
expectations low,
it's
high.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Like I have nothing right now. I'm super excited for it, I love how much is out there for it. But I want to go in of, oh my god, did you guys see this? And then you'd be like, yeah, they showed that like on the third trailer. Oh, okay, no, I didn't see it. Yeah, I know.
I hear you, man.
We were talking about was the whip. The saber whip, and over the weekend I just saw that new one with J-Lo on Netflix, and they straight have it in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as a weapon in there, and I was like, oh well, here's how it works. Like I wanted to videotape it and send it to you guys. Of here's the answer.
Yeah,
but like it showed it, and it's
what's it called?
totally,
Atlas? Something like that?
It's totally going to be. I'm sure how they're going to use it. I think. Because they had it out and it was grab somebody, it didn't hurt, it did hurt.
Well,
and I was like, wow, here it is.
That's a difference. There's an electro whip, which is what you're seeing, because they use that with the slavers and stuff in Rebels and other shows, right? An electro whip, which is what she's probably using. A lightsaber is like it can turn into a lightsaber too. It's multi-use. It's going to cut through.
Yeah, does it take a pill and then go hard? Like what?
As it's going like that.
The blue
blow
light
on it and it goes.
It turns blue.
Yeah.
Just like,
right.
It's really hard to tickle it while you're fighting.
Yeah. So it's gonna have to be something special. Yeah.
That's good.
Man.
But so I saw that. So that's my thing on it. Like, I mean, talk away on the theories and everything.
But no,
I
haven't. We are only going by
what we've seen. I haven't talked about any that
that's it
at all, because I think that was a big F up.
I know you usually deep dive. So there's nothing been yet on Reddit or anything?
I haven't. Didn't want to.
Because the premieres have the UK premiere was this week, and they had the red carpet. So I'm trying to be like, all right, going in and their eyes covered, just knowing what I want to do. We only have, again, a week away of doing this. But I will say this though, and this is what we've said this for a long time, and I'm going to bring up in Forbes, there was a whole bunch of people who went, and these are like industry professionals and went, not just the actors and stuff. And they're a lot of it, it's like overwhelmingly positive. I mean, really positive.
When you say industry professionals, you mean podcasters like us,
journalists, people who got first. Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. Okay. Podcasters going to freaking Lucasfilm and sitting down with them and talking with Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How?
Yeah, my mind was blown being there too. I could give a shit what you showed me. You could show me Ghost Rider 2, and I'd be like, it was the greatest shit.
Well, yeah, it
was a lot of fun. It was nice. They treated us good.
My point exactly is he gonna say it's bad?
Chicken was dry.
Yeah. But I overlooked all that. We got to see the special theater.
Yeah, but there's one thing that stood out for me. There was one little 2 words that stood out for me on one of these things, right? And this was, I kind of went like, I perked up because I was like, wait a second, this is our verbiage that we've said that we've wanted something like the Acolyte. And I've been thinking about the stuff about the Acolyte being like, it's so dark. This is not, doesn't look like a Disney Plus typical Disney show of comedy and stuff like, like kind of like goofy stuff or like bubbly or whatever. It looks deep. It looks dark, man. And one of those reviewers said Jedi Andor, and those words. This is the Jedi Andor style.
Fight the Sith.
No, stop it. Listen, what I meant.
Andor with lightsabers is what I'm asking for. If that's what it is.
And what have you been asking for?
Yes. Andor with lightsabers.
Yeah. We know that a lot of Jedi die. That means we're going to have a long funeral scene also. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This
and
is
what if they don't burn
by
them?
the way? Huh?
What if they don't burn them? What if they do something different? Because they burned everybody else. Like they always burn them.
Yeah.
So what if they do something different?
They don't always burn them. They're in the Jedi Temple. They actually lower them underground, and then a beam of light pops up where they lower it.
Oh yeah. That's
like whatchamacallit? The sister and the
Luxor,
the father and the brother. Yeah, is it like Luxor? Yeah. Didn't that happen on in that one when he died? The beam of light when she died, the beam of light came out.
Maybe it was
they covered and then the
Clone
beam
Wars.
of light came out.
Right?
It was Tales of the Jedi. Also, it was Tales of the Jedi. Was I think Tales of the Jedi had a funeral like that where they lowered somebody down and a beam of light popped up, and I know they did it in Clone Wars also. So
I guess it probably just depends on where you are.
Yeah,
Naboo's a burning place. Endor, what you gonna do?
If we're this early into it, I really hope, and this is just me, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I really hope going through this whole thing, there's not a mention of the Sith.
That's what there's a possibility of it. Like this is not.
I agree.
And if there is, like I said,
not yet.
This is the monkey wrench, right? So if it is, then everybody has to die that comes in contact with this because they can't run to the council and tell everybody, and so they're on high alert.
Unless, like we talked about, they
sweep it
the rug,
again,
and then
maybe there's
Phantom Menace when they say, and when Plo Koon says when Coyote Wendy says it, everybody else is quiet. Then we all think, oh shit, nobody's talking about it, and Coyote Wendy's like, what?
Yeah,
I'm millennial, right, guys? Back me
up. Am I wrong? Did I miss something?
Right? Nobody's backing me up.
Yeah.
So there's that. Again, there's that possibility of 2 things, right? Or 3 things. It's not Sith whatsoever, so it's just dark. But there's a potential of all stuff could be talked about.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
That's right. Yeah.
That's after the Jedi Temple bombing that Ahsoka was accused of being a collaborator on.
Nice.
So there you go.
Yeah, there's some hard ass shit going on in Clone Wars.
There is, man.
Oh yeah, it's dark.
Yeah.
Where they bombed all the Jedi.
Right.
Oh yeah, that kid episode. That's right. Yeah.
Star Wars is for the 12-year-olds. George, you're right.
Yeah.
We know that kids love intricate political plots and Jedi murder. I mean,
terrorism's on top.
Terrorism,
like Cobra. I mean,
right?
Obviously, yeah.
I got the Cobra on here.
Totally.
Cobra was straight all the time. Take over the world. Like, that's fine.
He's got it. 12 years old, nailed it.
Well, I forgot where I was going with that.
Sorry, man.
We went
No, I'm just saying, like, anyway, but it's either Sith or it's not Sith. And if it is, there's two ways they can go about it. Everybody dies, or it's a conspiracy. And if not, it's this other dark side faction. So
or they just never realize it's Sith on the Jedi side. But then we get to the point where you get into the Plagueis book, right on the other side. If we're seeing the dark side's point of view, by the end of this, you start getting into that. Okay, now the long game. Now they're already in the long game for the last 1,000 years because Bane started the long game to keep in canon, right? The only way he said how to get him is to get him from inside. And it took a long time, 1,000 years at this point to get him. You know, and they're coming up on,
and that's why I have
100 years before. They're like, hey, yo, this is pretty close. This is like 0 hour. You know, let's get this.
What's 130 years? I mean, let's do this now.
Like,
maybe a Sith jumped the gun. You know. And that's why I have to kind of put the Plagueis book out of my head when I watch this too, right? I do, because it could this could be a whole thing. And then we're sitting there going, no, that's not how it works. And they're like, well, there's nothing, there's no source material. You know? So
technically that doesn't count anymore, right?
It doesn't, it's not canon.
It doesn't count.
Right?
Plagueis book is not canon.
Okay. So you can completely
shut your mouth.
No, I know, which is so hard to say. Because
it's the same thing we're doing with Heir to the Empire, though, right? We're not getting Heir to the Empire.
We're adapting.
Well, the hard part for us is all the name drops that we've had here and there of everything.
Yeah.
From Bane to there's been a lot.
Well,
did you hear what they said?
She said they were going to have Bane in this one, or at least mention, and they had to pull it out for some. I missed the interview.
Well, from a long time ago,
that did come up. Yeah,
a long time ago, they said that this was going to be very Sith lore heavy, meaning we might even get a Darth Revan, Darth Nihilus, Darth Bane holocron, and we start exploring this. And again, the one main umbrella comment is that this dark are the underdogs and we're following their story. This is not going to be a Jedi heavy story, meaning we might not get the insides of the Jedi Council's movements and stuff like that. We're going to be following, I'm going to say that's it. We're going to be following them. We're going to be following the Acolyte. We're going to be following that. And this, and they're going to be the underdogs. They're the ones who are going to be chased around. At
the same time, murdering people. I mean,
but then Jedi Andor
is asking that too, right there. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and then Jedi Andor intrigues me to all kinds of, because again, I'm like,
me too.
We've always said, why don't we take Andor and we put this in Force use? Oh my god! And then if this show gets us, just me, like, this is one of my favorite shows ever.
Agreed. Yeah. That would do it.
Yeah. So Fig Fury, isn't the Acolyte supposed to be from the view of the Sith or dark side? Yes, as the Acolyte is used in EU as Sith apprentice.
I wouldn't take that too far.
I don't think so. I don't think quite that extreme. Like Chris, I think was about to say, I don't think we're following the Darksiders around as they're plotting to do everything. I think we're seeing the Jedi trying to fit, and this is just pure conjecture. We're seeing the Jedi trying to figure out who the hell is murdering their people, and we
might, as the audience, might get the answer.
No. I was it is supposed to be from the point of view of the dark side.
It is.
We're gonna see a lot less of the Jedi. We're seeing them in the trailers, bro. But I think that's gonna be downplayed a lot when we get into it. They said this is
that's what I want.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
there's excitement. I'm pumped for it, man.
I'm good with it. And like I said,
these first two might be Jedi heavy.
Yeah, there's going to be Jedi in it, but we're actually going to be following the Acolyte in the dark side.
Yeah. You start seeing Jedi get knocked off in the first two episodes, these premiere episodes, then it goes to who's been doing it. And then,
and I wouldn't mind if the show concluded with the telling us as the audience, like, this is where the Sith has been the whole time, and this is how they're plotting that infiltrating from within and stuff like that. But the Jedi are still naive of the fact, and it's still clouded, and it's like that does preserve the Phantom Menace. It
would be one of those things where, like, hey, we're this close to them, aren't they going to sense us? Oh no! And then we start talking about how the dark side, how I work, and
I swear to God, there better be a Darth Gungan in this episode. Just walk by or something.
That'd be
swear to God.
You know what? Just a Force using Gungan. I mean, I would like a Darth, but if not, a Jedi Gungan wouldn't hurt.
Yes.
Would it?
Yeah, it would.
A dark side Gungan would be awesome.
It takes off that smiley helmet, the little eye stalks pop out.
Because all the Gungans we know are dumb. They're not. Yeah,
see,
you're right.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's room, though. There's room.
Yeah.
There's room.
Look, we got it in the Lego. Let's be happy. We got
the Legos definitely. Yeah, Batu Babe.
That didn't come out yet, did it?
No, it's September.
We're
September.
getting it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're getting.
Yeah.
it in the
Maybe
Legos.
Darth Jar Jar will finally be exposed. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. God, still fully believe in it.
Oh, this is okay. So Fig Fury's bring up. I also think May, the assassin with the knives in the trailer, is the Acolyte. Yeah. So I think so too. But there was again. I'm just throwing this out there again. But again, we'll know next week. There was another TV spot that I saw that I kind of think that there are two Mays. There's two of them.
I think I saw something, and
what I've been saying for a couple weeks.
Yeah, there's a good and bad.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
They might not be both assassins. One's assassin, one might be not a Jedi anymore or something, but maybe trying to warn or something like that. I always go back to the poster. Why the same person mirrored, just masked and not masked. And then the TV spot that I saw, it was like, oh,
bro, they've never done a poster like that. Why would they do a poster like that?
Yeah,
it makes no sense. It's the same person. It's the same actress.
Yeah, same, right. And they only made that one figure, the assassin figure. The other one will be coming. So,
it's the Padme and Queen Amidala thing.
Yeah. That's Mando twins, perhaps. I did, because it did not, what I saw, it did not look like a flashback, flash forward thing. It looked like the same
same
time
person,
frame,
same hairdo.
I was like,
yeah.
Wait a minute, she's not bad right there, talking to whoever. And then you have the bad version of it. So, and then the poster. So cool. Let's go, right?
I can't wait to figure it out.
I'm with Rhino
yeah,
Hobbies.
So Fig Fury, heavily rumored another version of her character is getting another version of her in the Black Series, which is kind of leads into that theory, right? So, yeah, let's. I think that's what.
No, I like Rhino. Hobbies
See again. Here it is again. Rhino Hobbies, like Frozen 2, two sisters are the opposite. What did Leslie Headland say? This is Frozen meets Kill Bill. That's what her words were. And
she did say that.
She said that.
She really?
She did say that. Holy shit. That was a while back. Yeah, you're right.
That was a long time ago.
It better go into, do you want to build a battle droid? Have some fun.
Yeah, it turns into a musical. I think I'm out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But so all the roads are pointing to this dual character played by the same actor, which is great. Hey, let's go. Like I'm all for like a heavy story, man.
You see Julianne's comment.
So Genobi, that was confirmed. Twins. One was taken to be trained and the other left behind. That's.
I'm going to tell you what I heard today on the interview.
Are you okay? Let me just put it out there. Is it from Old Republic, like Old Republic stuff?
What are you talking about? I'm talking about what she
the interview. Like, did they reference Old Republic? Because this kind of
it referenced the actress playing the same.
Got it.
The twins.
Rhino Hobbies, cover your ears.
Yes.
Everybody cover your ears, even though it was just.
If you don't want to know,
it was there. It was, and they put it out in public at this point. It's really hard.
Yeah.
See, but I haven't been watching any of that, and
it's right there in the comments. Right?
I mean, but we kind of like.
Thanks, Julianne.
I mean, yeah, we theory crafted ourselves right into it because
we did.
Poster
we were
gave
kicking
it away.
around a couple weeks.
I mean,
ago.
really, the poster gave it away because I'm like.
The poster gave it away,
dumb.
but the figure, only having one name of May, and then the figure coming out, and the figure having the mask and no mask. It's removable. Right. It was like,
so you buy two of them, and then you can have both. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah.
Okay.
Olaf is Yoda.
But Olaf is Yoda.
Olaf is Yoda.
Make sure you want to know who Olaf is. Yoda.
Did you guys see the posters that dropped from StarWars.com?
Yeah. There's some bios and posters. And
I didn't read the bios.
Yeah.
Oh, I got them all here if you want to see them.
Nice.
So, yeah, let's do it briefly. Like, let's get ourselves familiar with what we're going to watch in a week.
Okay.
Like, more familiar.
Here we go. Jedi Master Soul. Master Soul is a wise, highly respected Jedi Master, strong in the ways of the Force, still and stalwart. Soul has a deep sense of compassion and will defend those who cannot defend themselves. He is a powerful warrior with intense emotions that he uses his Jedi training to balance.
Yeah, everything that I've seen with this dude so far has been absolutely brilliant. And that's why I'm like, Chris, Jedi Andor keeps popping in my head. And I'm so glad. And I did not take that. That was straight from somebody's review. This is Andor with Jedi.
It's going to be neat to see him for an episode until he dies after the first week.
Yeah, right.
This is going to be the Suicide Squad.
Right.
We go in with one team, and by the second bit, we're a whole different team.
First wave of Black Series, they're all dead.
All right. Then we've got Jedi Master Indara. Master Indara is a Jedi Master. No shit. No. Is a Jedi Master of great physical and mental skill. She has exacting control of her Force abilities, exuding a sense of command and authority with just her presence. Though she does not seek combat, she is skilled enough to engage on her own terms.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say something. I don't want to. I don't want to say it.
I mean,
it is kind of a spoiler.
The fight scene that we saw with her though was fantastic. I mean, it was no lightsabers. It was her doing the whole Ezra thing from the Ahsoka, where deflecting weapons with her Force powers and just
very Matrix-like
to avoid.
Yeah, very Matrix-like. And then she whipped out the saber, and it's like, yes, there we are. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I've had enough of this. Put out the saber.
Okay, and then we've got May, a mysterious young woman with a tragic past. May gets swept up into a sinister mystery. Say that 10 times fast. One that puts her into the center of a conflict in unexpected ways. She is determined to exact vengeance on those who wronged her, and little can stop May on her quest.
Gosh, that dash feels like a weird placement for that. I would never do that. Is that proper?
With the sinister mystery one.
Yeah, it's like they hyphenated that. I was like, what the hell is that?
It's an alternative to an ellipsis or a comma. Yeah, the hyphen right there, but it feels wrong.
Yeah. Her just makes me think that she's enacting revenge on the Jedi, but has nothing to do with this sinister plot. And then she gets caught up into it. Like, wait a second, I came across another character who has the same plan, but her overall motivation was different from the start. Like maybe the twins being separated in this tragic past kind of thing, right?
Maybe the Acolyte has her sister, and she gets swept up into this mystery to try and figure out who it is.
Yeah, I'm thinking she went to kill a Jedi that was already dead, and they're like, "Oh, wait a second, I didn't kill him," and it's like, and then all of a sudden that masked
and then villain she runs into Bay, who is her sister, being trained by Master Soul.
Bay,
yeah, and then Master Soul's like, "Whoa,
well, hey,
you look just like." It's gonna be all weird.
But she's actually being trained by Plo Koon's brother, Slow Koon. So there we go. Yeah. So Bay is being trained by Slow Koon, while May was trained by Soul. And okay, anyway.
Yep. No originality, I swear.
I know. Kel Naka. And I tell you what, right here they fixed it by making him not wear the Jedi tunic, and I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
You put a Wookiee in clothes, and it just looks weird. It's got to be a buck-ass naked Wookiee up there for me to be okay with it.
See, funny, now he looks naked to me because I've seen him in the gear.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on here? The gear's one thing. The man bun's what's killing it. I don't know, man.
I love it. Because of Jedi. Jedis have weird hairstyles, man. Like the Padawan braid and the
All right, Kel Naka, a Wookiee Jedi Master. Kel Naka has sequestered himself in the tangled jungles of Kufar. He is a loner who lives a solitary life.
I wonder if it's because he did something wrong and he's upset.
I failed. I'm going to run away. No.
He's the originator. They're pulling a Kel Naka. That's what Yoda's plan is.
Wow.
It's time to go.
Yoda's off doing a Kel Naka. Yeah.
That becomes code for, fleeing for your life.
Oh, man.
All right. And
I'm excited to see a Wookiee in here, though. I am. I mean, just bring it on. Yeah.
Last but not least, we've got Jackie Lone. A skilled and studious Padawan learner, Jackie Lone shows great promise in her path to becoming a Jedi Knight. The Padawan apprentice to Master Soul is young, but she projects calm and conducts herself with maturity.
It's gonna suck when she dies.
She's the Acolyte.
Yeah.
she becomes Darth Tenebris and
Smiley. Darth Smiley, that the villain.
Oh man.
So there we go. That's the posters. I hope you all enjoyed it.
I'm glad, man. Like, you go to StarWars.com and it's all I mean, it's just this crazy. Like, here we are again, guys. Like, in the moment of a Star Wars show, right? And then letting it unfold in front of us and let the internet do what it's gonna do, and then we do what we do, and we're gonna take it. And I'm just saying, like, I hope it doesn't break lore, which I mean, I'm pretty positive it's not going to. I am.
It's not going to break it. With the issue we're going to have is does it change it to the point where it's not recognizable? Like, if you change it, then we're going to see that. I would see it and be okay with it. You would see it and be horrified when you get to the Jedi Chamber, the Jedi Council in Episode 1, right? Because then it would be completely different.
Yeah,
it's gross.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
if it does something like that, right? Or it could just not. We could just get neat little nods to stuff and like, oh, cool. If they try to do too much, the problem is trying to change the original trilogy at all, and you're going to mess up.
Yeah. Well, we've been asked to take the prequels and the sequels and all that and all that's come before and use it as basically gospel, right? And here you go coming along with something that could possibly throw a monkey wrench in that, right? We've got an entire, and I know this is us looking back at Legends and the old expanded universe, but we had books upon books,
source material
that was all based on that line. The Sith have been extinct for over a millennia. And here you go, possibly throwing a monkey wrench into that. That doesn't sit right with me.
But they haven't been.
If there's a what? No, that is the Jedi. We're seeing Jedi come after him. Come on, man.
It's Coyote Mundy's thinking.
Yeah, it's Coyote, right? Now we've got to come up with ways around it to make it make sense, right? It's like we've got to look for that loophole now. And
well, I mean, like I said,
the next line was, he's right. I don't think the Sith could have returned without us knowing. He didn't necessarily say it was because of the millennia. He just
and that was Mace Windu, who was even younger, right?
That's right. Mace Windu wouldn't have been around, but he might know.
Well, like I said, Scott, the Sith have not been extinct. But for the Jedi's perspective, they have not been. They're not in power. They're not around.
That's why every one of these people that comes in contact with this person either needs to die or
it's going to
be a conspiracy.
It could be like it's pointing fingers like the Sith return. So when the actual villain gets apprehended or whatever, there'll be almost like a sigh of relief. This wasn't a Sith. You know what I mean? And that might be the thing.
Hi, my name is Bob Wren. Yeah.
Or they kill two of them.
Or maybe they've stomped.
And there's not just two of them.
Well, then Kai should have said the Sith have been extinct for 130 years.
Kai wouldn't have known it.
Seriously,
Yoda get it. They take out by the end of this. They take out two red sabered Force users.
Special edition of the Phantom Menace. Now
it zooms in
on Yoda. It zooms in on Yoda, and he goes. He just winks.
Or they just cut him out of the entire.
All I'm seeing now, because I'm picturing the scene in my head, is all of them going, "Oh fuck."
Don't tell him that.
No, he's right. He's right. Millennia. Looking up on their pads. How long is a millennia? Shit. That's not long enough.
That incident a couple hundred years ago was just that.
That's millennia or century. You said century, right? That's close. Close enough.
Yeah, but that could be it too, right? Like all fingers are pointing to the Sith return. All fingers, all these roads, and maybe the council's like, "Wait, this is impossible," right? And then what we get wasn't Sith, and they could be, and it could still preserve that line.
There's plenty of ways to preserve it. Yeah. It really is, but you have to have that discussion that it's not Sith or that it is, and we're hiding it. You can't just be a bunch of Force users and not discuss it.
Right.
You have to have a discussion somewhere to this didn't happen, or
it's got to be a conspiracy. It's got to be a conspiracy.
It really has to.
I just gave you two ways out of it. The conspiracy.
You can't all die, bro. Plo Koon's there.
They could. It doesn't have to be Plo Koon. That's what you're saying. That's one way.
If that's not Plo Koon, I will. You could pre-mad me all the fuck you want.
But the other way is
that better be Plo Koon.
I'm telling you, the other way is that. This whole thing points to the Sith, but it's not the Sith, and so I can preserve it too.
No, I
That's
can.
A smart way of going around it.
But then you got then I would argue the fact that you know what Qui-Gon said. Oh no, there's no doubt in my mind that who we encountered was a Sith Lord. Why, dude? Because he was handing you your ass and he had a red saber. That's going to happen here. This acolyte's going to hand you your ass with a red saber. Yep. So guess what? It must be a Sith.
But in that scene where that guy Plo Koon wasn't in that scene, and that where everybody that got blown up by him. You know what I mean? He could have been that
Plo Koon was out. And they had sabers out.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to be that scene. That could be a whole different scene. And all those guys who died that saber could be different. So
their sabers are for show, they're for ceremony at this point.
Ernie, the parents are fighting again. This is how we kicked off this whole episode. They were fighting. They're fighting again. We thought we had
one
peace.
of his kisses.
It's all in a couple days.
One of his kids isn't as great as he thinks he is. Yoda needs to come down a notch or 3, man.
Hey, listen, man. when you start taking like, you know,
the
sacred
trilogy.
Yeah, when you start taking shots at Yoda, like that's where I'd be like, all right, look, man, it's time to just take Star Wars and go home, because you can't do that. Like you can't do that.
You literally just said that right now. That's the answer.
Can't do that, man. You can't
do
just
that.
rewrite. You can't just retcon Yoda the way, you know, and destroy the character like you did Boba Fett.
God.
You can't
Where's
do
the Star
that.
Wars handbook? You just can't mess with Yoda's character. Got it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a T-shirt. Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. Oh man. All
It's
right,
not gonna happen. It's just really fun to talk about. It's just like Darth Leia was never gonna happen. This probably isn't.
Yeah.
But something has to. It's we didn't really talk about the show much and the new characters, right? We talked about how that was gonna link into our old shit.
Yeah.
How is this going to affect my prequels and my original? How is it going to touch the sequels?
You know why?
How is it going to touch Plagueis? We didn't even talk about who's Sinestro. We showed the posters, but we talked about him for like 3 seconds. We could give a shit about these people.
because there's that main underlining kind of like thing that we have to work out first, and then everything should go, fall in line, right?
But I've got an end in my head, and we haven't even seen the characters in action. That's so shit. I'm such a horrible fan. I really hate doing this. I'm just stop podcasting.
This is why we like Star Wars so much, is because Star Wars is progression. It's a progression storytelling. So when things aren't always the same, and I'm gonna throw Luke Skywalker out there for everybody who says like, well, he should just be running around with the lightsaber and just killing everybody and then going home and saving the day. It's like, well, that's not Star Wars. Star Wars never had that consistent story. Whatever, it was a progressive story. You didn't like it, that's fine. He ran away, but then he inevitably did what he did and put Rey up on a pedestal and made her the last Jedi and all that stuff, and that's was his story. It's like, well, that's what happened. You know what I mean? So in a way,
I don't like it, but
I will say that with Yoda too. If that is what happens, okay, that's fine. That's what happens. I like progressive story, but if this was all learning, like if they're twisting rules on the way, that's fine too, because that's what they've been doing. And if this
you mean like how they use the Force or stuff like that? Is that what you mean?
Well, even the Jedi rules, right? Like the rules of them about possessions.
It's
stuff.
happening.
Yeah. If it's a way, it's like, look, okay, this ain't working. Let's change it, and it's changing for the worse. This is why it's the beginning of the end of the Jedi.
The High Republic. This is the end of the High Republic, which is where they let that all be, right? So
and this is where
they
had a Sith Lord infiltrate and destroy them from within.
They did. Their timing on this is a little off. They should have released that final book of the High Republic a month ago, so people had a chance to digest it, right? And then kick off this show, because it is the end of the High Republic, and the High Republic right now is dealing with attachments. It's dealing with attachments, and those attachments leading you to the dark side. It's dealing also with Yoda working with a dark sider to figure out a way to combat something that kills the light, right? Mm-hmm. It's you're getting these characters touching the dark side and learning about how these possessions and how these attachments drive you to the dark side.
It's a fear of loss.
So wait, so the book right now is Yoda talking about attachments and the dark side?
No. There's a
Don't
creature.
Give him fuel, Scott.
Yeah,
it's there.
No. Yoda is there's a creature out there that can suck the light force out of light, right? Out of light side Jedi. Okay. But if it is
that's my life force, all right.
But it does not affect Darksiders. So Yoda seems to be the only one who's figured this shit out. So he has gone to a fallen Jedi, not a Sith, just a fallen Jedi who left because of the dark side, and brought him back before the council to figure out a way to use the dark side to defeat this enemy that the Nihil has unleashed on the Jedi, right? And in the meantime, two of the main characters love each other, and one of them is in mortal peril, and the other one is skirting with the dark side in order to rescue her. And everybody around them knows that these two are in some sort of a relationship, right? So it seems like it's projecting itself, right? I don't know if it's gonna end up the way I think it is, but one of the two are gonna go bad trying to save the other one. And one of them is kind of like a brash young man, and the other one's like the stalwart, the lady's stalwart, and I forget her name. She's the one who was always like the prime Jedi of this time, right? Blonde hair.
Oh yeah, Avar Kriss,
right? I would be surprised if it wasn't her that fell to the dark side trying to rescue Elzar Mann, right? It's Elzar and Avar Kriss, and
Chris was named after me. By the way.
I know, because of your long flowing locks. I
know. Well, they made it as opposite as they could. They're all let's get a skinny blonde lady all dressed in white to be this chubby dark guy, you know.
So the final book should have come out before the Acolyte, right? So it could set this all up for us.
Okay, so just all right. So first off, you just confused the hell out of Mando Mike. And Tyrone King, thank you for joining. He also wants to know if you have a list of books that need to be read. As far as I'm sure we can guide you if it's High Republic or what, like at what time period would you like to know, and then we could probably guide you into certain things, because there's a lot post Return of the Jedi. Then there's the comic realm, which is OT, and it's like, there's stuff.
Just Vader comics, period.
Yeah.
And
so
you can probably stop there with most of it.
Yeah. So let us know what era of time frame, or in general, you know what I mean, like where to begin. That'd be
Rogue
cool.
One, Dark Apprentice, Last Shot.
Dark
depends
Disciple.
on how much you want to go into. Like, honestly, it depends on what era that you want to delve into. So right?
Good books.
Legends versus canon. It's there's a lot, man. And what I'm talking about right now is the High Republic books. It's like it's their current publishing initiative that is all leading to the Acolyte. And they just pulled the trigger a little late on this final book.
I would if it is High Republic stuff again. The way it was set up. So he's saying he has a blank slate. Lead me. Thanks in advance. Absolutely. So what do you guys think? Like, what do you guys think? Do you think we would guide him into, like, because Acolyte is going to be new, to guide him into High Republic, or start to learn a lot about the prequel characters like Dark Disciple, and then get into Bloodline, get into all those.
Master and Apprentice is fun.
Master
Easy
and
book,
Apprentice
fun.
Is great.
Yeah.
So delve into the prequel era, because that can give you a lot of good insights of Obi-Wan.
The Dooku audio play. The Dooku audio play is pretty great. It's Harry Potter, but you've got to listen to the audio play. Yeah.
You can't, the audio drama of it. You can't really. I mean, you could read the script, but if you've ever read
the audio is so good.
They suck. They really do suck to read scripts.
All right, fantastic. This is what I think we could do. Like, so Tyrone, this is a great opportunity to go onto our Facebook Central. We have a page there, and maybe we'll start to comprise some reading essentials and post it on our Facebook. So join
more than we can get
there.
Into just yet.
Yeah, so maybe we can, like I said, it depends on different eras, and we can kind of like lead some people into, like, this is the intro to these books here, and this will make the prequels just like really stand out, and Clone Wars, and then here's like post Return of the Jedi stuff, because there's a lot there too. So
I just dropped a link to our Facebook account in the chat, Tyrone.
Yeah.
So feel free to click that, join the group.
Just stay tuned, and we'll post
together.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think with that, guys, I think we're ready for it. I mean, we're gonna watch it. 2-episode premiere. It'll be Tuesday night, Wednesday, but Wednesday is the actual premiere, I think, unless it's gonna be like 9:00 Tuesday. We'll see, because I thought I heard something about June 3rd, but June 4th or the 5th is the actual date. 8 episodes total. So I did find that out. 8 episodes total, 2 episodes premiere, and $180 million budget for the entire season. So Not bad.
Nice.
It's movie budget, man.
Not bad at all. And if those two words ring true when it says Jedi Andor, which means the Andor look and feel and the adultness of it, but then it's Jedi world. Oh my god, like perfect.
Especially dark side centric.
Yeah, perfect storm for us,
great.
right?
Yeah.
So that gets me excited.
It's everything I've asked for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Said that.
Yeah. For how long?
And yeah, we've said that, and to have somebody else say that. That's not a part of it. That's what's like. Okay, there's a connection there that we can be seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Theory highly recommend that Darth Bane trilogy. We all agree. I think that's a.
So we'll give you a list of EU
unanimous.
books too, because there's the Thrawn trilogy, Bane trilogy. There's some things, and
they're not canon anymore. But
right, but if you really want
not...
to find out what's like in the Mando verse is happening, we can lead you into some EU books too, because they're pulling from that definitely.
Yeah. And the Bane trilogy also takes place thousands of years before anything else. So there's still a possibility that stuff could ring true. There's a possibility that nothing will be countered in what we see.
Hopefully, because that's as perfect as a trilogy or set of books can be.
Yeah.
That's as great as any set of books.
Yeah. And the Darth Plagueis book. I think the Darth Plagueis book
that is highly recommended.
Yes.
Chris, this one's for you, man. Julianne Fernie says, well, thank you to the great show for all of us. And Franz, I'm serious about trading that Obi-Wan glove. She wants to trade for that Vader behind you.
Missed. Yeah, you missed.
For the big Vader?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm going to have to sit on this.
Okay. All right. Well, check back Vader, us with the and so there's an offer on the table, man. There is an offer.
Oh, no. Sick. And Julianne's good for it, she is.
I know.
So
that's not a worry.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Oh man! And then I would open up that Obi Glow and put it right here, and you'd be like, "What? You opened it?" I'm like, "I did."
Yeah,
I
always tell people when I buy something from them, I go, I'm going to rip this open as soon as I get home, just as long as you know that it's not going to like a collector's, minting box. I'm not going to put it behind glass. I'm putting it on.
I'm gonna love it.
Or nowadays it's more like I'm gonna give this to Scott Solo to open a do a review on. So yeah,
and then I will have it on my
shelf. And hopefully he doesn't break it.
Hopefully I don't break it.
Drop kick it after he's done reviewing.
It's always a fingers crossed.
One time, damn it.
That's all it takes, man.
I still have the pieces, Scott. I still have the pieces.
I owe you a TIE Interceptor, man.
No, don't worry about it, dude. You're fine.
It was the Interceptor? Oh,
yeah.
Shut up.
I just found it too. It was like one of a kind,
man.
It was the Chase finger, 1 out of 1.
Nice.
There's 6 of them at Walmart right now. Damn it!
I know. That was a 1 of 1.
Scott's getting up right now for the show. This guy going to Walmart.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here. I thought that was a good talk, man. I think I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm ready. I will admit at the beginning of the announcement of the Acolyte, I wasn't ready. I was kind of like very, very nervous for this show in general. But the more everything that I've seen, I was like, how can I get nervous at what they presented to us? It's really good. Everything looks really good. I mean, yes, it could go off the rails and it could be totally unexpected, and we could be sitting here next week going like, just like we did with the Last Jedi review. We're like, what happened? What happened? I don't understand. No. Like, I don't.
No, bro. I'm going to this pretty optimistic. I think it's going to be great. It doesn't affect. We're putting effect onto the other stuff. I'm seeing it really as a standalone.
But it's important, dude. But it is important to as a
eventually it needs to touch other stuff. But I shouldn't make that. I made that all my thoughts about it. Right. I didn't care about the character. What's going to go on in the story. We don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
But once we get into the story, and I hope I just care about the story.
I think so.
Care about the characters. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's roll with this. And,
cool. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man.
I don't know if I've really had that with any of these. Maybe that's the problem with most of this stuff. I haven't really fell in love with any of the characters.
When there's too familiar, like Obi-Wan and Kenobi and Ahsoka, and those are like we sit there really on the edge of our seats, like careful. With this one's a very loosey. Now we're worried about canon.
We're not committed to these characters. We don't care.
No, not the characters.
Make them whatever they are. Doesn't
right.
matter.
But now the canon is where it's fragile. Right.
So, once Yoda enters the room, Plo Koon enters the room, and Chewbacca is hanging out with Kel Naka, then everything is different.
All right.
It's his uncle.
Yep. Chewbacca's uncle, Kelnock.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all
from the Aka family.
Yeah, the Aka family. So it's like, I mean, come on.
obviously.
Yeah, because you do have Lobaka and
Yeah.
Lumpaka. I don't know.
It was Lumpuraru or something, huh?
Lumpuraru, yeah.
He took his mom's side. That was before they were married.
You didn't want to hyphenate. He hyphenated. All right, guys. All right, let's get out of here.
Lumpuraru Aka.
Before I kick it over to Ernie, so we just dropped our latest toy review because we do toy reviews, but Star Wars centric. Everything that we talk about.
They were.
Yeah. I mean, our toy chest. Yeah. So every other Monday we drop a toy chest show, which kind of like encompasses all Star Wars collecting. So we just dropped one yesterday. Go check that out. And of course, our Beyond the Pits, where we just kind of sit and we just talk. And there's nothing written down. We just talk, and it's we call those the Beyond the Pits. They're Star Wars, everything else. So those are in between our toy chest shows on every Monday. So you got content to.
And Ernie, so you didn't catch it. I'm pooping on this cantina rumor like you pooped on the barge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The HasLab. Yeah.
I'm done with it. I mean, not that I ever bought it. I just I'm angry with the way these companies are run.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's what that one's about. Mostly.
Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan. Oh man. Thanks, gents. I'm excited for the Acolyte too. Great chat.
That's what's up. It's good. It makes sense, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't like it. I'm
and even if hey man, like I said, it's not the employee's fault. It's the bosses. Somebody's got to take the fall for it.
Oh, sure.
Be the big
guy. Stops here. I get it, but
and the one who makes the decision has to be the one. He eats it, and that's where we'll actually like it, probably because Yoda will be accountable for it. He's going to be a leader about it. It's just you're just
Yoda never runs from that.
Yoda runs from everything that we've ever seen.
No, he doesn't. He accepts his faults. Like anyway, all right.
Wow. Ran away for 22 years.
That was
and then ran away and died before the final battle. Big old puss. Like didn't even help. Like wasn't even in his ear. Like at least Obi-Wan was like, use the Force.
Hey man.
Trust your instincts. Yoda didn't do squat until 30 years later.
But it worked out.
And he came back and blew up a tree.
It worked out.
Parents are fighting again.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
Marriage counseling.
For more of this back and forth, go catch up on all our last episodes.
Fight Yoda.
If you're new here, yeah. If you're new here, please go check out all the replays on all our old shows and content. Everything is reposted. Yes, toy reviews, brand new shows hitting the channel, as well as all that 24/7 Star Wars talk and everything you need to know over there on the Sarlacc Digest Central. So go join just like Tyrone did, and we'll put that list up. We'll guide you in the right direction. We definitely will. And then in between those times when your eyes hurt, turn us on and take a listen to all those past episodes. And we got you covered on all your Star Wars content for sure. Yes. Then you're going to be just as pissed off as we are with all the theories we come up with, and they don't happen.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going into the Acolyte blind, which is happening
different
this week.
Tried.
Yeah. And happening this week. We hope you all enjoy it. Catch us back here next episode as we go over it, see what we got right, see what we got wrong. You guys are going to love it. The first two episodes were amazing. You got a little bit right and like that. You don't know or not, but Filoni gave me his hat. I'll show it next time. So thank you guys for joining us. Be sure to check out Tashi Station Emporium for all your figure stand needs. I mean, from He-Man to NECA to Star Wars, of course. Look at that.
And
all on there,
the YouTube channel, because
the brand new YouTube channel.
Yeah.
There's episodes on there, Johnny. Go subscribe. The link is below.
Yeah.
Go check all that out and get into it. And you'll see what it's all about. We just don't push it because Moocher sits right here and he makes us. No.
That's right.
We actually do love it.
You guys didn't say it last week. Yes, you did.
Just debuted the 3 3/4 inch walls, which are modular and they connect together. And I've got a hallway that I'm building right now, and it's freaking amazing.
And when you're tired of the hallway, you can turn it into something else.
Yes, it's amazing.
Not like a HasLab that's $400 and it's there. Oh, yeah, man.
No. Yeah. So go check it out. It's all the links are below. Thank you for joining us. Check us out on all social media. We're on everything. And if you like those reviews, Fake Fury, go check them out on TikTok. We have more here. And then check us out on Instagram and all that for all the latest show and Star Wars news. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy the Acolytes.
Woo-hoo!
Yes. Yes. I can't wait.
Fight the Jedi.
Fight the Jedi.
Whoa.
All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. Thanks in the chat. Thanks, guys. With that, Scott.
Keep it nerdy, everybody.
Yoda's fault.
Oh!
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.